And tonight I have the honor to have Executive Chef, what's your name? No,
I don't
teasing
remember.
you. Taylor Mohlmann from the district. And back there's Eric Hayes. He's now at CoLab. So they're both going to be working together. And then we have his team. We have Julie here somewhere in the corner. There you go. Julie works full-time at the restaurant. I know because I go there and they're kind enough to teach me how to make sourdough. So that's why they're my buddies over there. So, and then I got Sandra back here. So she's been there a long time too. So there tonight, that's the team. And we're going to have a nice evening and enjoy yourself.
First off, thank you guys for coming out, especially with this beautiful weather we're about to have. So we're doing some pretty neat things. A lot of it we're going to talk about because some of the things, especially in our first course, are a little more time consuming. And we're not going to be allotted the time, but we're just going to go through and explain everything. Some of the components that I'm very, very excited about are the K Bravo daikons that Diane grows that we cure and turn into a faux prosciutto, our salsa matcha with the Happy Rich, our labna that we're going to be making, which is essentially yogurt cheese. But for our first course, we're keeping it very simple. We're doing a roasted eggplant dip. It's essentially baba ganoush. Absolutely beautiful. So we have a couple of eggplants from Miss Diane right here. And this one's pretty straightforward. Instead of using the oven, Diane has tons of cool toys out here, which is a lot of fun. So she has a plancha. So we roasted them in the embers because we're going to be using the plancha quite a bit this evening. So her eggplants are absolutely beautiful. So we're going to remove our skin and we're just going to take the back of our knife, splay it out nicely, and then we're just scrape and then straight into our Vitamix. We're going to do this with all of our eggplants. Pretty straightforward. So this is not one that we do at the restaurant, but it is one of my absolute favorite things to eat. It's quick, it holds well, which is our favorite part about it. And you can just use it in place of hummus. It's essentially hummus. There's cumin, there's paprika, there's tahini, there's lemon juice, there's salt, there's garlic, and it's just a great little snack to get us going. So for our oven-dried tomato portion of this, we took Diane's tyrants, which are really, really cool because they have like moisture in them. They look like a Roma tomato. Sorry, I used all of them. But so when you bake it or roast it, you don't end up having it pool out. So you retain this beautiful texture and the flavor is like crazy concentrated. So we're going to be garnishing with that this evening for our first course. So we're also doing a crudité that consists of her beautiful celery. Her celery is very young, so we leave the leaves attached to the celery because A, they're beautiful and packed with flavor, and it's just beautiful. So then we also have some beautiful peppers that she grew, kind of a little bit of a mix. Her English breakfast radishes, which are like the best. I don't particularly care for other varieties of radish with the exception of daikon. The little round ones that you find in the store, like they oftentimes have been overwatered. They're never spicy. They're never sweet. A lot of times they're perforated. And if the greens are good on them, we will use them. So super excited to have her French breakfast radishes, which are these guys that we cut up just a little bit. And then we have some carrots, some dill flower that she grew, and that is about it. So pretty straightforward. Peel everything, peel your eggplant, your tahini. Our tahini was a little separated, which is going to happen whenever you get tahini. So if you look, it's a little clumpy when it gets separated, and that's just that we used green tahini, which is just like young sesame seed. So that goes in. Beautiful, beautiful flavor. At the restaurant, we'll use black tahini, which is very deeply caramelized sesame seed. To make our black sesame seed ice cream, we try and utilize, as many entertaining ingredients as we possibly can. So that's going to be our first dish. So it is seriously this easy. Again, everything right in there. Vitamix. Biggest pet peeve in the restaurant is somebody not turning the Vitamix off and unplugging it or leaving it at a variable speed. It is one of the most annoying things. So Vitamix, always start low and slowly bring it up. You never really want to go to full speed in a Vitamix because what happens is you start splashing everywhere and you're not going to emulsify. Like with this small amount of product, I don't want to see a mess up here. It's also easier to clean if you don't do it. So I'm only at speed 5. I'm not even halfway. And it's doing the job perfectly fine. And yeah, it is seriously that easy. So you're looking for a paste. So we're going to go ahead and plate up our sourdough. We made it in-house. The sourdough demos get a little sidetracked, so we refrained from it this time. But if you have any questions, I will happily run you through a recipe. And anytime, if anyone's interested, we do discard quite a bit of our starter at the end of the evening at the restaurant. So we'll always have some that we'll pass out. If that's something that you want to get into, I'll happily give you some and give you instructions on how to feed it. And these are those Tyrant tomatoes that we were talking about. So they look like a Roma tomato, but the really cool thing about it is when you split them open, they're almost hollow. So again, there's no moisture content. These make amazing tarts. They make amazing roasted tomatoes and just have this amazing concentrated flavor. One of my personal favorites that Miss Diane introduced me to. So let's get your first course out. This next dish is really cool. Salsa matcha is one of my favorite things. It's very similar to chili crisp. Yeah, you get it with your ramen. It's everyone absolutely loves it now. So there is a very simple version of this for here. A couple of things that you can add to it, especially if you're looking to go more towards those Asian flavors and back away from your Latin flavors. Instead of using smoked paprika, use gochugaru, which is a Korean chili flake. In with your cumin and your coriander, star anise, and Szechuan peppercorns make an amazing addition. That was scary. So this is a two-step process. So in my pot, I want my oil, my cumin, my coriander, my raw peanuts. In my bowl, I want my paprika, my shallots, and my chilies. So, and my garlic. And so this dish will keep, this dressing, if you will, that's what we're treating it as, will last you easily a month in your refrigerator, because if you think of it, it's everything's completely preserved by oil. It can be a little messy, especially when you go to dump. So the idea is to bring this oil with your harder things up to 400 degrees, just below the smoke point, or right at the smoke point is just fine. And so garlic goes in with your softer items, and this wakes everything up. Your cumin wakes up in this oil, your peanuts wake up in this oil, and in turn, when we add it to this bowl, once it's ripping hot, it perfumes like A, the entire room, and it's amazing, and B, it fries your garlic and it fries your shallots, and that adds more texture to your dish. So we're just going to pop this onto the heat for a moment, and we're gonna bring that up. So Eric's in the back working with our Happy Rich, and two cool things that he's doing back there with that is A, it's on the amazing plancha that Lee built, but because we're doing birria and we're trying to keep like a little bit of a Latin flair going with what we're doing, birria, when you braise the meat, you remove the fat, and the fat you dip your tortillas into, and then you crisp up your tortillas with the beef fat from the braise. So we're actually using that same fat for this broccoli. So you get like a nice little beefy flavor that translates through it. A lot of the items in the braise are very similar to what we have here. Two of the ingredients that we're working with, this is our labna. This is a Chobani yogurt after almost 24 hours. So we let it sit in the fridge overnight in cheesecloth, and it removes all the moisture. The moisture is good for two things. It's whey, right? Like, so it's great for fermenting things. So if you want to kickstart a lacto ferment, like pitch a little whey at it, and you'll get to where you want to be much faster, whether it's a kimchi, a sauerkraut, or just a simple pickle. The other thing that we're going to talk about are Diane's K Bravos. So we cured these exactly like we would almost any other cured meat, with 2% salt, 10% sugar, all by weight, and several different beautiful aromatics. And we cure those overnight, and then we smoke them low and slow until they kind of shrivel up. They lose that moisture content, just like you're looking to lose whenever you're dry aging or you're curing, a copa or a piece of prosciutto or lomo or bresaola. So treating the vegetables like charcuterie is really fun. We just like it. So it's actually on Diane's bib salad at the restaurant right now as well. So we're not quite there. So what you're looking for is A, smoke, and you want to see your coriander change colors. You want to see your peanuts change color, get that deep roasting on it. Szechuan peppercorns are not in here, but they take a fair amount of heat, so almost impossible to burn all of these things, which is really nice. I'm hoping my bowl's not too terribly small for what we're doing, so that we don't make a mess. But if you want to cut over to Eric and see what he's doing out there, we should be very close to getting our second course up and plated. But this is what we're looking for. into the Vitamix. And all you're going to do is you want, this bit's honestly completely dependent on you. I like my matcha ground up a little finer, personally, like you guys have. So, again, I hate it when the Vitamix goes too fast. But yeah, all you're gonna do is grind it up. I have a white here that's not cooperating with me currently. And that's it, your salsa matcha is done. And it's just absolutely beautiful. Again, whatever texture you prefer. So, you know, if you like big chunks of cumin or peanut, then by all means, don't blitz it nearly as hard. So this is a really fun cut of meat. It's called flat meat. It comes from the belly. Every once in a while you can find it at Publix. It's one of my favorites. So it doesn't need much cleaning. It looks like a skirt steak on steroids. So this comes, it's right by the belly. So, you know, we're just gonna do a quick little, this is how you braise demo. So first thing you wanna do is you always wanna season your meat. We're just using salt and pepper. And I'm gonna cut this open so you guys can see the ridiculous marbling in this particular cut of meat. But again, salt and pepper. Hard sear locks in the flavor, helps you retain moisture. You know, going through the braising process, even though you're cooking it in liquid, it's really easy to dry something out when you're braising, and nobody wants that. So low and slow is your best friend unless you're using an Instapot. There's nothing wrong with using a pressure cooker. I have one at home. I use it when I need to get oxtail done for dinner or whatever I feel like. So yeah, just so you guys can see, I mean, this lends itself so well to the braise with that marbling that's in there. So we'll just run through a quick order of operations. We're going to sear this on the plancha because again, it's just really fun to use that thing. I like to braise in a Dutch oven. Dutch oven is your best friend. So first thing you always want to do is cook your vegetables. Because this is birria, we are not going to deglaze with anything except for, we're gonna use veal stock today, but typically beef broth or whatever you would like. Onions in the pan, we're not gonna use a whole lot of fat for this one, just because there's so much fat in here. You wanna grab that real quick? So we're gonna sweat our onions down. Take the whole board. Eric's gonna get that guy seared off and we'll show you exactly what it looks like in just a moment. So we're gonna braise everything together. So onions need to cook for a while. So always sweat your onions. I like a little color on my onions. Like, I know some people don't. I know some people just absolutely hate onions, but they are absolutely necessary for this. The other thing that we're gonna do while we're braising everything down, or cooking our onions, is we're gonna knock in our dry spices, our coriander, our cumin, our black pepper, and our bay leaf. Big fans of fresh bay leaf. Makes a world of difference. So obviously that's gonna go in when our liquids go in. In order to prevent like a super acrid, like nasty flavor, de-seed your chilies. A few seeds aren't gonna screw up your flavor profile, but if you don't and you're using this amount of chilies for like that small amount, you're gonna ask yourself, why does this taste weird? Why does this taste bad? And that's bitterness coming out of the seed that you just really, really don't want. So that's gonna go in after we get our spices toasted. TikTok made this really famous for some reason. Everyone loves the birria. So everything goes in. We're gonna let that sweat. We're gonna wait until we can smell all of our aromatics. Once we smell our aromatics, we only lightly want to toast our chilies. We're gonna take our tomato and yeah, let that and our veal stock deglaze. All right, so with this dish, it's coming with a consommé, I'm sorry. So the consommé actually refers to the broth that we are building currently. So it's the braising liquid. So this is a quesabirria. So the consommé is for dipping. So you're actually using up all of your braising liquid. So you just have like this wonderful warming soup. And then traditionally, it's just finished with onions and cilantro. We're just gonna be that simple with it. We're gonna do a nice little rustic salad with it. Oaxaca cheese is string cheese on steroids if you've ever had it, or if you've never had it. Comes in either a ball this big or a ball this big. And it is literally a knot of cheese that you unwind exactly like string cheese. It shreds just like string cheese. It's a little milder and has a little bit of a lower moisture content than mozzarella. I love it. It melts amazing, and then it solidifies pretty quickly right behind it. So you get a couple of different textures while using the cheese. So we're almost there with our onions and our seasonings. Eric's got the beef searing off. And we're just gonna do a quick little deglaze with our tomatoes and our veal stock. And at the very last second, we're gonna pitch our cumin in because we don't wanna burn it because it's a fine powder. Again, that will turn acrid just like using seeds. Nice color on our meat, still super, super raw. We're gonna put it in, we're gonna let it braise. This takes hours and hours and hours and hours. We're gonna go low and slow. Like I said, Dutch oven. We're gonna add our paprika now that our beef is going in, and Eric is going to start making tacos. Blueberries are in season right now. Florida has amazing blueberries, super huge, super plump. This is just a really rustic dessert. The only odd things that are in here are the milk powder. So blueberries are slightly tart on their own, but we like to macerate them, so we like to introduce acid and sugar to them. It helps to pull out the liquid. Blueberries are also naturally very high in pectin, which is a beautiful thing for stabilizing. So all we're going to do is real simple. We are now macerating our berries. Just lemon juice and sugar, and we just want to cook them so like they pop all on their own. So we're just gonna, for sake of demonstration, go into these little coquettes, right? And it's nice if it sits for a little while. So behind that, I like streusel. So we're kind of going the streusel route with this. So flour, oats, milk powder. So when the milk powder caramelizes, it's absolutely amazing. It just adds a nice nuttiness to it. Brown butter is just one of my favorite ingredients. So that's why we're adding our milk powder to it. Cinnamon. Vanilla is ridiculously expensive right now, like fresh. So what we're doing is we use vanilla paste, which is whole vanilla pod that's crushed up, pulverized. It has the seeds in it, small amount of alcohol to stabilize it, and it just makes this beautiful paste. And you still get all of those amazing seeds. So we're just going to Get that together. Add our sugar. And then we're gonna cut in our butter. Butter's best, it's a little warm out, so butter's best, you know, frozen, especially when you're baking. But unfortunately, we cannot control the elements. But I promise you we did at work, at District. So we're just gonna cut it in, and this is just gonna make like a nice little kind of granola-y topping. You can lay this out, bake it on a sheet tray, a silpat, and you'll end up with a beautiful granola for the morning, especially with the brown butter in it, adding all of that nuttiness to it. So you just kind of really wanna work it. You want it to be grainy, you want it to be a little clumpy. And then very simply pack it right on top and bake. You'll be nice and juicy from your blueberries. You'll have a nice little crunch from that. And then we love dulce de leche, so we're just gonna put it on the bottom when we plate. But it's so simple. It's sweetened condensed milk that we boil for 2 hours in the can. Take the label off when you boil it, and then you end up with this, this beautiful, beautiful caramel. It works in the pressure cooker too, but you have to make sure that you ice it down right away. There was an accident once upon a time where they forgot that the can got pressurized, and caramel shooting out everywhere is A, not fun to get all over your skin, and a mess to clean up. So make sure if you're doing it in a pressure cooker that you put it into an ice bath and let it sit for like 30 minutes, and don't try and rush it. So yeah, that's it. We're gonna get plated up. We went with a sweet corn ice cream. Corn's in season, obviously. Corn and blueberries, awesome together. We didn't roast the corn. We just juiced the corn. It has natural sugars in it. It's got starches in it that just lend a really nice texture to the ice cream. So yeah, we're gonna get all plated up and get dessert out to you quickly.
So I really want to say thank you again for coming tonight. I'm sure you enjoyed your meal. And a big thank for Chef Taylor here and the whole team, Eric back here that did all the cooking outside and caught on fire. No, I'm teasing you. And then Sandra and Julie. They're a fantastic team all working together.
Just wanted to say thank you guys very much.